welcome back to another review. Today I'm reviewing Fuller House. I just binge-watched literally the entire series, beginning to end, over the course of like a week or two. I want to say it was only about 1 week to make it through all of it, and it was 1 week too long. I grew up watching the original Full House as a kid, and I mean, I'm old enough to where I was a little kid. I was almost like the same age as Michelle, so I was very little when it started, and I remember when it went off the air too, but I religiously watched that show. I loved it. At the time, didn't seem too corny or anything, even having watched it in syndication since then as a grown-ass adult, it doesn't seem like painfully awful, so I was excited when they rebooted it. Granted, they don't have the Olsen twins. Michelle is just not a thing in this at all. I figured maybe for like the last episode they'd bring her back. No. She literally never ever shows up, so just save your time if you're waiting for Michelle. But the first time I tried to watch it was when the show very first came out and hit Netflix. I think I made it approximately 2.5 episodes before I couldn't do it. I bailed, and I never tried again, because I was like, it is too painfully cheesy, and just everything about this is awful. But hearing that they were ending the series now, this season, that just dropped this month, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'll give it another chance, and no matter how bad it is, I'm going to watch the whole thing. Now I'm going to review it, and if it's awful, I never ever have to think about it ever again after I review it. And that is the boat we are currently in. So, oh my god. Basically, when they rebooted this, now DJ lives in the house with her 3 kids. And Kimmy Gibler is still next door with her kid and her weird Latino husband, ex-husband, boyfriend. Nobody quite knows what the fuck they're defined as anymore. So they're a thing. And Stephanie shows up from London with a weird fake British accent that she drops by halfway through the first episode and never appears again. And of course, all of the uncles and the dad show up, and Aunt Becky and the grown-ass twins for like an episode and are never seen or heard from again. And it's just weird and painfully awkward in every possible way. Especially because they feel the need, for some unknown frickin' reason, to continue to break the fourth wall. And normally it doesn't even bother me that much when shows do this, but on this show, it's like they do it so frequently and so blatantly, and in such like a judgy, like guilt-trippy kind of way at the Olsens specifically, where it's like, can we just fucking not? And it totally shatters the suspension of disbelief. It really just takes you out of the moment and reminds you that, oh yeah, we're watching a TV show. As if we had forgotten we're watching a TV show. We apparently needed a reminder because we're too dumb to remember that. Yeah, I don't know. It bothered me almost more than anything else that they did this through the entire freaking series. Also, Uncle Jesse's a puss now, and as cool as he once was, he just... No, there was literally no appeal left anymore. He doesn't even have pretty going for him. Breaks my heart, because I actually do like John Stamos, but, they kind of 100% ruined his character here. Uncle Joey, who at one point, as a little kid, was my favorite, he is so fucking intolerable now and has, like, the worst absolute hellspawn of children of his own that just... Oh my god, like, it got to where anytime he was on the screen I was like, oh hell no, please don't bring the fucking kids back. But, thankfully they weren't in that many episodes, but even when it was just Uncle Joey, it was like, oh, does he have to be there? Oh... Okay, I guess we're doing this. And then even Bob Saget, whenever he'd show up, even that just felt really faked and forced. I mean, maybe it's that we're all much more aware of his brand of humor in real life nowadays than we were back then when he just seemed like this squeaky clean, wholesome dude, and now it's like, oh, actually, that's not it at all, and kind of gets alluded to here and there throughout it. It's like, oh, it's so uncomfortable. Oh, I don't like it at all. Oh my god. So then when they aren't in it, you would think it'd be better, but it's not. Because apparently, even just, like, DJ and Stephanie have horrible on-screen chemistry. It doesn't fucking work. I'm sorry. It did back in the day as grown adults. In this particular scenario, it doesn't. And then Kimmy, they tried to, like, make her cool now, even though also dorky at the same time, but cooler than she was back then, and has her own business where she's full of herself and gives no fucks about it. Yeah, it's a whole thing. Yeah. And yet, I'm still more bothered by the fact that her husband feels the need to refer to her all sexy-like as Kimberlina. And I'm like, I am upset on my sister's behalf. It's like, that has been our nickname for her, and we have never heard anyone else ever use that nickname, ever, until this. And now it's like, nope, nope, just hardcore, nope, pump the fucking brakes, nope, 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 and nope. However, I did like one piece of things that was authentic to the San Francisco area. Kimmy Gibler's crocheted scarves, I recognized every single one of them. This is where my nerdiness is showing. I recognize exactly who made them. Those are all Twinkie Chan originals. She's an Etsy seller who now has her own line of crochet books and such, and has her own website too. I recognized her work a mile a fucking way, and I'd gone to her Etsy the first time I tried to watch the show, since I think by like the second episode one of those scarves had shown up. I was like, oh, I know where I've seen that before. And I was gonna message her to ask, hey, was that on Fuller House? And I didn't even have to, because even on her shop, there was a thing on there, as seen on Fuller House. I was like, slow clap. And why it's authentic is because she is a San Francisco native. So I was like, well done, well played. The one thing I liked about the show. Not even an important part of it, not even a plot point, but it was the one thing I legitimately liked about it. And I got excited every time that I saw one of them pop up through the whole series. And there's a lot of them, too. So I was like, oh my god, there's another one. And every single one of them were legitimately hers. So I was like, I love it. So, I don't know. The plot lines, they were flimsy to start with, but the further in it went, it just got worse and worse and worse. It's like, yeah, this is exactly why you got fucking canceled, but I wanted to like this, but oh dear god, it's bad. It doesn't have the charm that the original did. I wish it did. I really wanted it to, but it doesn't. And I don't even think it's a case of looking at the original through nostalgia goggles, because I have rewatched the original show as an adult, and I don't have these totally different feelings about it now. I still feel very fondly about the original. But this does not work. And most people I've spoken to about the show agree that it doesn't work. So, I was kind of curious to see if with the final season, if they were going to write in, Becky going to jail. They didn't officially write it in, but she was just curiously absent and never ever mentioned throughout the entire season. Just saying. Just saying. So there's that. But I don't know, the whole thing, honestly, it just left me feeling sad and depressed and old. I was like, oh my god. Really though, this is not supposed to be the takeaway of freaking Fuller House. This was supposed to be wholesome entertainment, and there was a lot of things that weren't quite so wholesome about it, and a lot of things that just felt really uncomfortable all around for so many different reasons, on so many different levels, and I was like, I don't like what they did here. If you did like it, that's your prerogative. I'm glad that you were able to like it. I wanted to like it. I wish I could say I had. I wish I could be one of you, but I didn't. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have to apologize for my opinion, but this is YouTube. You have to apologize for everything here, apparently. So, anyways, it was very uncomfy, and it seemed like they were trying way too hard for the forced diversity of the Latina characters, or Latino, Latinx, whatever the hell you want to call them anymore, of Kimmy's husband and daughter, and just had them randomly break into Spanish out of nowhere just to remind you, in case you forgot, we're people of color. It's like, okay, that was completely unnecessary, and we didn't even provide subtitles or anything, so it was just like, why are we doing this exactly? I don't know. But, for as overboard as they went on that, I think there was like a grand total of maybe 1 or 2 Asian characters in the whole thing, and like 1 black character. Yeah, the show is very, very white. I was like, have we forgotten where this show takes place? This is fucking San Francisco. Granted, the part of it that their house would be in is very much gentrified, but that doesn't mean that black people and other people of color don't exist there. So I was like, I mean, normally this isn't even a thing that would bother me. Actually, usually I am the opposite extreme, where the forced diversity bothers the shit out of me, where it doesn't feel like it fits and they're doing it just for the sake of going, we have token black characters just so we can say we have them, so you can't call us racist. And it bugs me. It's like, if they're organically there, cool, that's great and wonderful, but when they do it in such a way to where it feels forced and manufactured, it bugs me, because it's like they're virtue signaling without actually trying to affect change, you know? But, for once, it was the opposite extreme, where I was like, okay, even I'm going, this show is too fucking white. But, yeah, that, and this may be one of the first times ever I have found myself thinking that. Maybe that makes me a bad person, but it was, like, glaringly obvious here. I was just like, yeah, especially for what city this takes place in, this is not realistic. I live about 45 minutes away from the city, so I can very much say, with confidence, not realistic at all. Like, there's a good portion of the city where the whites are the minority, so I don't want to hear the, oh yeah, everybody's white. No, they're not. I'm sorry, they're not. Oh my god, it shouldn't bug me as much as it does, but it does. Like, I could understand the original, the 80s and the 90s, yeah, we weren't that far yet as a society, and including stuff like that in our shows. It was a sign of the times. But at this point, you know, it seems like we've come beyond that. And there's a very fine line to ride, where it's authentic diversification versus the phony, forced shit that bugs me. If it's done correctly, I stand and applaud. When it's done incorrectly, it bothers me, because it feels more racist to me that they're doing it in a phony way just to virtue signal without actually believing in it. So, they do it, you can tell when they're pandering just to shut people up, but they don't mean it. That's what bothers me. But that is a whole other side tangent. I don't know, it just, so many things about this show left me feeling empty at the end of the day. I mean, there's a lot of things that also reminded you of, hey, by the way, you're fucking old if you're watching this after the original. Like, hey, now the dog is Comet Jr. 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 Okay. Thanks for that reminder of our mortality and our age. Thanks for that. Really appreciated. Oh, God. I mean, I liked the dog, but them feeling the need to do it that way, I was like, I see what you're doing, but oh god, did you really have to do it quite like that? And made a point of calling him that for several episodes before referring to him as Cosmo. So there's that. I did like the dog. I did like the youngest kid. What was his face? Was it Max or was it the other one? One of them was the little boy, one of them was the baby. I'm talking about the one that was the baby. I loved the baby. He was very cute. Any scene he was in was automatically made better just by him existing in it. The kid was great, too. I liked him as well. They're about the only two human characters that I cared for the whole thing, which, if I'm saying that, like, the only good things about this show were some crocheted scarves, a dog, a baby, and a little kid, your show has some work to do. Just saying. Just saying. I don't know, it just... There's so many things I feel like I would have done differently if I somehow were in charge of this project, which of course I'm not, in my opinion, means absolutely fuck all. But, I don't know, the way they went about it, it just... I get that they were really pandering the nostalgia card, but they did it too hard to where it just... It lost the charm of nostalgia by being too nostalgic, if that even makes sense. Like, too many things had to stay absolutely samey same without changing at all. Like the house. I mean, parts of it changed, but a lot of things stayed exactly the same, and it's just like, I mean, I get why you're doing it, but really, you went, like, too far overboard, and it, no, and there was a lot of flashback scenes to the original show, which just, I mean, I get they did it as a reminder that these were, oh yeah, hey, this is a throwback to this time when. Probably for the benefit of the younger people watching this who aren't old enough to have remembered the original. But, on the other hand, it also totally made it just feel like, hey, we have all this empty space to fill and we don't know how else to fill it, so clip show! It's so lazy. So many things about this show were so lazily written and constructed and just bugged me. Oh god, and yet the one thing that I kept expecting to be a thing, well, I mean, besides Michelle showing up, which never ended up happening, but the thing that I totally really expected to happen that never happened. Now how John Stamos is in the Beach Boys, totally expected there to be at least one episode where they showed up, or at least Mike Love or something, and no, that didn't end up happening. But there was that one song that they sang in it, but they didn't have them doing it, they just had Jesse and the Rippers doing it, but yeah, I don't know. This is where I'm like, it's a catch-22, because I'm disappointed that they didn't do it, but if they had done it, I would probably feel like you're trying too hard. So I'm like, there's really no winning. I'm too damn picky on this one. I feel like this is a spin-off that didn't need to exist. And just everything about it feels wrong. And just, no, give me the original. I don't want this remake crap of this one. I'm not opposed to all remakes. I'm really not. When they're done well, I like them. But this, I'm sorry, it was not done well. Like, everything about it is wrong for the most part. I'm not even gonna bother giving it a number rating, because my rating is I fucking hated it. So, anyways. That sums that up. So, anyway, that's all I have to say about that. And now I never ever have to think about that show ever again, beyond making this video. So, if you like this video, which I'm sure you don't, because all I did was bitch in it, give it a like! Or don't. I really don't care. Make sure you're following this channel. Hit that bell icon so you never miss an upload. Leave comments down below. Did you watch Fuller House? Did you bail on it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you think it was stupid? Do you totally disagree with everything I said? Leave any or all of it down below. Make sure you're following my social media accounts, my Facebook fan page, my Twitter, my Instagram, my Etsy, everything and more. It's all down below. And if you like what I do here on this channel and you'd like to help support it, the donation link, as always, is down in the description. Anyway, guys, till next time. Bye-bye.